Well, hello, Ryan, Paige. It is such an honor to have you here with us. Thank you for joining us on the podcast for Save the Storks. We're here at the AACC World Conference in Nashville, Tennessee, the 2023 conference. It's huge. There's 7,000 people here. We are just honored to have you here. And Ryan, I just wanted you to take a little bit of time to share with our audience a little bit about your personal story if they haven't heard of it before.
Yeah, definitely. Well, first off, thank you so much for having me with Save the Storks. I know we talked about this earlier, but you guys truly are family, and the mission that you guys are accomplishing is something that is so personal and so needed in the Christian walk and loving others. And I'm so pumped to be able to be here with you guys. But yes, my story starts at birth, which is many of the stories that Save the Storks covers, because we were all born at one point in our lives. But yeah, I was born to a newly 20-year-old mother. And when she was pregnant with me, basically they did not really know that I had a disability or a difference, as I like to call it. And she had many ultrasounds and did not know, right, that I was different at all. And I wonder if my story would have looked any different if anyone knew that I did have a difference, because my mom wasn't a believer at the time or didn't even know like what that would look like. And basically after that, she had me, and the doctor said that we don't know if she's going to be able to walk. We don't know if she's going to be able to really talk. We don't know if she's going to be able to play on the jungle gym. And, you know, when you meet a new mom with that kind of news, and a social worker comes in the room and asks these questions and is very involved, you wonder, like, how is this child going to thrive when everyone is dictating what their future is going to look like? And my mom made a decision then that she wasn't going to let those comments dictate what my life looked like. So it was a series of learning what it was like to be independent while also having my mom occasionally tie my shoe, as I like to describe it. So then really started in school. I didn't really realize I was different than others until I remember being approached on that same jungle gym that was mentioned to me when I was in the hospital by peers. And they would ask questions like, what happened to you? What's wrong? What does this look like? And it wasn't until I was like 9 years old when I accepted Christ that I understood that what happened to me, quote unquote, which I firmly believe is how it was meant to be made, is something that can reveal His glory through every single step. And I just deny the notion that people who exist differently in the world shouldn't be given the chance to live and shouldn't be given the chance to walk in their own way that God has designed for them. And I think that if I definitely experience seasons of hardened hearts, and I try to ask God like that famous question of why. And sometimes I didn't get it, I didn't get the why, but I did see the why. Because I was seeing how others were never ever told that they had value that looked like me, or maybe were, having developmental disabilities or showing up different in the world. They were told that they couldn't. And then instead, when I started singing at a young age, I remember even singing karaoke and kids coming up to me and being like, I need your autograph, or I need this. And it wasn't by anything that I did, but it was about that I was putting myself out there in a different body that wasn't always the mainstream thing. So I sang for most of my life, and then fast forward to 2013, I was a finalist on X Factor USA with Simon Cowell, and got to spread the gospel on that platform, which was a completely humbling and beautiful experience. And then I moved to Nashville and started pursuing my music career and getting into college and all of those wonderful things. And I realized that I wanted to do more for the nonprofits that I was working with or singing for, or even the mission that I was on, and started to pursue my social work degree, my bachelor's. And I got that about a year ago, and I just wrapped up my master's of social work degree because I do believe that, my voice is one thing, and I'm so blessed that God gave that to me, but it's one thing on what we do with our voices. And I wanted to be able to be a good steward of that. So that's really what led me to my Master of Social Work and loving others where they are and encouraging mothers, because I think that without the hope of Christ, right, like things can look really dim, and without like incredible resources like Save the Storks offers, you can think you can't do it on your own. So my mission in life, I always say, is to fight for those who are learning how to fight for themselves. And I firmly believe that together we will be able to teach others how to fight for themselves and to see God's worth that has been placed on their lives.
That is beautiful, Ryan, and I've been so inspired by you since we first discovered you. Like you mentioned with Simon Cowell, he actually said, you're so humble. He said, you are a true superstar. And last time I looked, that video had over 60 million views. Yes. So if anyone watching this interview has not seen that, you have to check out Rion singing. You sung the Carrie Underwood song.
Yes.
That is a powerhouse song.
Yes.
I mean, you blew the audience away, and you got a standing ovation. So that was so cool. But I loved how you said that your voice is being used for so much more than just your musical career.
Yes.
And again, you have a phenomenal opportunity to build your music career, but I know your heart is really helping other people who might feel like they have a difference and they're not quite sure what to do. And that's why you are so graciously here at the World Conference. You're going to be singing in front of, again, thousands of counselors who may not know how to really speak to someone who has similar differences. Yes. And they feel like they don't have a voice, they don't have a reason to go on. So tell me a little bit about what you have been using your new social work master's degree in to help Save the Storks with our START course. I'd love for you to just share how you used your education to help us really create this. You helped write it, you filmed the videos, you were such an integral part of this START course 201. I'd love for you to share with the audience how you were involved in that.
Definitely. I mean, honestly, it was such an honor to be a part of it because I think that the START course is such a need. It is something that I think the world needs, honestly, to hear, and it's an honor that even Save the Storks and the AACC wanted to partner together to create a resource like this. Because a lot of times, I can feel very thankful and privileged that I've received the education that I did with my master's degree in social work, but honestly, the real people on the field are those who are in our churches. The real people on the field are those who are opening up those doors at all hours of the night, who are being community, who are showing up, and that's what God says is community, right? God says that is, showing up fully for each congregant, for each member, for each brother and sister. And I think that taking that social work perspective as well as faith lens is it's a unique place to be, but also being able to have those resources to show when I have a mother with an unexpected pregnancy or an unplanned pregnancy, what do I do? How do I show up in a way that's not harmful but rather helpful? And I think that just being able to voice that is something that I think it's easy to forget that we can sometimes cause harm and we can also cause, help. And I think that the START course is something that will equip those who aren't in the mental health field every single day in order to know what are the next steps, how do I refer this person or client in our world out, how do I love them as the church, how do I get a community around them, how do I show them that this is possible. And something we say in social work all the time is like the power of self-determination, the power of listening to that woman, the power of listening of where they are. And most importantly, when I was writing my parts of the START course, it was just showing God's heart, right? He gave us really neat tools within the sciences of mental health and all of those things, but he really is the creator of it all, right? And I think putting those two together is going to make a powerful force to make a change instead of cause more hurt. So I hope that is encouraging for every member of society who's opening up their arms wide to a woman and they don't know what the next step is, or maybe they've never been in this situation.
Beautifully said. And again, your heart for doing what the Lord wants you to do to bring him glory. And then again, you're using your talents and your education to bring support and services to the church. So at Save the Storks, we really look at this as a three-pronged approach, right? To help that woman. The church has to be involved. If the church isn't involved, where else can someone go to who has a need? And especially a woman in an unplanned pregnancy, we want her to know that the church is a place where she can go for safety and support and love and all of that unconditionally. We know in the Bible, Jesus went to that woman in the well. He helped that woman who was about to be stoned really educate the people in the community that the woman wasn't the one that should be stoned. We need to look at our own hearts. And again, I think the mistake that has been made over centuries is that we automatically blame the woman and we want to put the scarlet A on her. That's not right. That's not what Jesus would do. We need to come alongside her. So definitely Save the Storks in partnership with you and our START course. It's like really coming alongside the church. It's our mobile medical clinics, which has been so critical.
Yes.
And as we're recording this today, we have 96 mobile medical clinics on the
amazing.
road. We
Yes.
just interviewed Valerie Millsaps, who's here in Tennessee also. She's getting our 100th mobile medical clinic here soon. And those are life-saving vessels of divine deliverance.
Yes.
And then, of course, it's really the pregnancy centers, the women's health clinics around the country that are doing such beautiful, life-changing work. They're providing health care to women. They're also, inviting those women in when they suspect they might be pregnant, and they're making sure that they are the hands and feet of Jesus.
Absolutely.
And they're saying, look, we're here for you. Yes, you have an unplanned pregnancy, but guess what? That doesn't have to mean your life is over. In fact,
Yes.
your life can thrive, and here's how we're going to come alongside you.
Yes.
So I'm just so excited and so encouraged by how the START course is now going to bring the church into this conversation,
Yes.
come alongside the
Yes.
nearly 3,000 pregnancy centers around the country, come alongside our mobile medical clinics, and really provide meaningful services that a woman can then say, you know what, I can do this.
Yes.
I'm ready to be a mom.
Yes.
I'm absolutely prepared to be a mom. This is who God created me to
Yeah.
be. So again, I'm so excited we're doing this
Me
together.
too.
Yes,
Me too.
yes.
Yeah, and it just highlights too, like the narrative that a lot of times too, like there can be an assumption as well that like disabled people, different people cannot be parents either, and there's not like a lot of resources out there to talk about that. But like I fully believe that when that time comes, like God will make me capable, God will show up, and I hope that other disabled or different people as well can see that too throughout this, or different church members, because it's a powerful thing to tell a woman that they are able, and it's a powerful thing to tell them that they're not alone. And I think that START course is going to be something that comes really alongside them and creates long-lasting community, and also like reconciliation with some of the hurt that can happen in those situations. And I'm just so excited to see how it flourishes in each and every community that it's planted in.
I think you're going to make a fabulous mother. I've met your mom. She is an
She
inspiration
is.
to me as well. You're like just such a beautiful mother-daughter duo.
Yes.
And we've been talking at Save the Storks about how women deserve equal access to motherhood.
Yes.
And it's so sad, really, especially in the last 50 years. I feel like women have been told, you know what, you're not good enough to be a mom. You don't have the financial resources. You don't have a stable relationship, or you're addicted to something, or
Yes.
you don't have this or that education. You don't have a support network. We're telling her everything she has done in her past where she can't be a mom, but we know that God wants her to be a mom.
Yes.
If a woman becomes pregnant, that baby is a blessing.
Yes.
And we are going to come alongside her. And if she feels like she's not capable, guess what? We're going to come alongside her, love her, give her the programs and resources. So she, again, she doesn't really feel like, oh, I have to do this. It's like, I want to do this. I'm ready to be a mom.
Yes.
We, again, equal access to motherhood. I was adopted as a baby. My birth mom, she was married. She had 4 little boys. She went out and had a one-night stand.
Yeah.
And something changed her mind when she was on that drive to the abortion clinic, and she decided to choose life. And she knew she couldn't bring me into her family, but she found a couple who couldn't have their own biological children, and I was adopted. And I wouldn't be here today if it wasn't for that. So again, we encourage women to either parent their children, research adoption. There's so many options out there.
So many options.
And again, your mother did it. She was 20 years old.
Yeah.
You're going to do it. And
Yes.
I mean, gosh, you're such an overachiever. We were chatting earlier with Rion that, she came out and sang and shared her testimony at our event we had in April. And within weeks, she was recording the START course while writing the curriculum. She graduated with her master's. She got married, and she moved into her first place with her husband. So you are an overachiever, but you're just a perfect example of how, you can have your dreams and you can fulfill your dreams.
Yeah.
Like, you just have to know what you're reaching for, and you have to know, really what the journey is and how you're going to get there, and people will come alongside and make sure you get there once you express what you need.
Yeah, I think it's a humbleness to ask and accept what God is putting in front of you. I think even just as a human and existing in the world, it's like, I thought this thing would look this way. No, actually looks this way, and it's more beautiful because I get to see where his hand is, the way that he wanted these things. And I think that same thing about like welcoming a new life into the world is just that, it may not look exactly like you envisioned it looking like, but there's so much more reward in being able to see what God's plan was instead of your own. And I think that is just such a beautiful sediment to a lot of the work that Save the Storks does, in addition to what the START course is going to communicate.
Ryan, you are so young and you are so mature and you just have so much life in you. And I'm just honored that you are part of this journey with Save the Storks. And we are excited to see how God's going to take us all together and really, create that story of hope and empowerment for every woman who's in an unplanned pregnancy. So women like your mom, like my birth mom, that they won't even think about abortion. That's the environment, the culture we want to create.
Absolutely.
Is that woman, when she finds out she's pregnant and she feels like she's not ready or didn't plan for it, she doesn't feel like abortion's her option. She sees other options because of the church, because of the pregnancy clinics, because of these mobile medical clinics.
Yeah.
Together, we are going to just continue to do God's work and bring Him glory. And Ryan, I am so grateful for you. I love you so much. I love you like my daughter.
Me too.
And I am excited to see you sing tomorrow in front of 7,000 people.
Me too. I mean, just like, wow. I mean, what a pleasure to even be sitting in this seat, to be able to talk about something that's so impactful and that the world needs, because like, this is light. Like, I think that it can often be looked at as like lack of quote unquote options, or, just this hostileness of like, what do I do, right? But instead it's saying, like, look at what God has, like, open your eyes and see what He can do. Because I think if my mom were to have lived and I were to have been a victim to what people said about what my life would look like and what others that I have met, what their lives would look like, we would not be where we are today, because the world will say it's okay to be a victim. The world will say it's okay to sit there and to cry, and like, I cry about it sometimes, but like, that's the beautiful human thing about it, is like, where there is great pain, there is great reward. And I think that is really just so unique to say, no, I'm choosing to not be a victim, but I'm choosing instead to trust God's plan. And that's something that I had to do in my own body and in my own way that God made me. And I hope that can inspire those who are inside the church and our, mobile units and everywhere that Save the Storks goes and everywhere that this movement moves, is that, there is hope. There is always a way out. God always provides a way out. God is always there. And tomorrow, I made a decision, like, for my second song to actually lead worship, because I just really feel like that's where we need to be, is like on our faces and praising Him for like what He is going to do. And I know that He's going to do incredible things with the START course, and let people show up where they are, because God accepts us in every form of being. So it's beautiful, and I'm very, very honored to be a part of it.
Oh, thank you. We are all created in His image, and we were foster parents many years ago, but we used to tell some of the kids, you have had a traumatic childhood, but you can either choose to be a victim or a victor.
Yes.
And I feel like you are the ultimate victor. You've had victory over everything that people maybe said you and your mother cannot do.
Yes.
And look at you. You're going to be leading worship tomorrow, and you are singing the song that you wrote.
Yes.
So you're a songwriter, you're a singer, you're a social worker, you're a writer, you just do it all.
Sovereignty.
So, yes,
definitely.
Thank you so much, Ryan.
Thank you so much.
You bless us all so much. Thank you.
Thank you.